My stepmom moved in today, and she's trying to change everything, and I'm 15M, already hating it. So my stepmom moved in today. My dad and her aren't married, but since she's living with us now she's my stepmom I guess. I've never liked or disliked her, we just couldn't existed when she was over. Well now that she moved in, she's being a bossy bitch. Like, I'll respect you, but don't think for a goddamn second you are my parent. If you tell me to do my chores, I'll do them. That's about all the authority you have over me. I don't have a bedtime. My mom and dad both think I'm responsible enough to decide when I should go to sleep. It's that way at both houses. But this bitch is out here telling me I need to go to bed by 2 on weekends and 11 on weekdays. Like fuck off. And she tried telling me I can't go to my friend's house. Like it's not your decision. My dad and I have a thing where I just tell him I'm leaving and what time to expect me back. And rarely he tells me I can't go, and if he does it's for a valid reason. But for some reason this woman thinks she gets to tell me when I can and can't leave my house. I still went to his house and when I get back home she was bitching about how I disrespected her and disobeyed her and how she cooked dinner for me and shit. I didn't disobey shit. You can't disobey someone who doesn't have authority over you. And my dad has just stayed neutral this whole time. And it's literally this woman's fucking first night living at our house. And she acts like I'm her fucking property or some shit. Like how the fuck does my dad like this woman? 'Cause if this is how she treats her boyfriend's fucking kid, she can't treat him nice either. I go to my mom's on Sunday, so at least then I'll have a fucking break from the bitch. If you can't tell, I'm very pissed off, so sorry for all the cussing and stuff. Anyway, does anyone have any idea on what the hell to do? Edit. So I'd just like to add as I just woke up and from just scrolling through the comments, I'd like to address the whole bedtime situation, as a lot of you I don't think understand my perspective. I see it as disrespectful. Why? Because she doesn't know anything about me and thinks her judgment is more important and better than the trust that my dad has in me. It's not the fact that I actually have a bedtime, although it is kinda annoying, it's what it represents. I see what she is doing as disrespectful to me and my dad. I think it is disrespectful of the relationship, trust, responsibility, and rules me and my dad have already set. And I don't like to be disrespected, it's just how I am. I hope this explains this some more. Also, although I really appreciate all the advice and I have and will read every message that comes in my inbox, I do not think I should respond to all the comments anymore. But I sincerely do thank you guys, and I might make an update depending on how this goes. And I don't call her bitch to my dad or her. I do call her by her first name. I would say you should talk to your dad alone when your stepmom is gone because there are already rules that don't have to be changed, some are better changed, but like your bedtime it was already there, so if talking to your dad doesn't work you should talk to your stepmom and tell her what you feel, and if both doesn't work I guess you're a little screwed. Honestly, your father needs to step in and set boundaries for her when it comes to you. They aren't even married yet and she literally just moved in. The least she could have done was speak with you about how things will go from that point on, but even then you're a 15-year-old, not some young elementary school age child. She needs to sit down with the both of your parents to iron things out and understand where she can and can't step in when it comes to you. At the same time she could also be enforcing some things that your dad wants to do but can't just tell you personally. You never know. First of all, stop calling her names. I understand you're angry, but this doesn't resolve anything. Then, talk to your dad alone. He's clearly trying to evade actively parenting, out of laziness or cowardice or both, but he can't do that in a situation like this. Talk to both your parents about this. She isn't your stepmom. She is your dad's new live-in GF. Teen problems. I miss those days. You sound like a total brat. Maybe stay at your mom's full-time. I think it's time for you to sit down with your dad and have a man-to-man talk with him first. Explain the privileges you had and why you don't see why you should lose them. Then listen to what your dad has to say. Very few people are open to changes, especially drastic ones. Try to remember that, like it or not, everyone here is in the same boat. Wish you the best of luck. This is all it takes to chip you? Have you ever thought about growing a thicker skin or being less of a spoiled fuck? Did you talk to your dad about his girlfriend's behavior? Perhaps you shouldn't refer to her as stepmom because the term could give her more leverage with your dad to give her more authority. There's a link between the dad letting the stepmom take over and the dad letting the kid set his own bedtime. Start saying things like, my house, my rules. You need this relationship to work. Because it's me or you. She is wildly misreading the situation. Dude, I know you're upset about your dad remarrying someone, but you should listen to her. It doesn't mean you have to regard her as your mother, but you should still listen to them as long as you're living in their house for free. It's completely normal to have to go to bed by certain time when you're 15. A lot of kids your age have parents who don't feed them, don't buy them clothes, and beat the shit out of them for behaving normally. You're lucky to have two parents who care about your well-being, so if you have any anger you should deal with it in a healthy way that doesn't involve stressing out your stepmom. When my stepmom moved in, the only stupid rules she played was no eating on THW couch and no eating with a spoon except soup. Not eating on the couch sucked because we always for 10 years ate pizza and watched a movie on a Friday. The stupidest thing she ever said to me was, "You're holding your fork wrong." But I still really like her and I learned living with her. Stop trying to parent me. Just because we share a roof doesn't mean you get to dictate what goes on underneath it. I have parents already. Instead of being mad at this woman and keep calling her a bitch, you should talk with your father. Your father is the one who is supposed to make boundaries with her. Also, please stop calling women bitches. You should talk to your dad. You don't have to talk to her. Your dad should have think about it before moving her in. You are 15, he is responsible for you and your comfort at home. It's not your problem. I sincerely hope your dad will understand you completely and you get better with you stepmom. She seems to be too excited to have family lol. Gotta talk to dad dude. He seems like a good guy with the rules he's laid out. Treats you like you're mature. Come to him in a mature way. Hey dad, can you help me explain the ground rules that we've established? I don't want to make my relationship with her weird. For example, you know that we've discussed me going to friends' houses and staying up late, but she might think other rules are in place. I bet she's trying to help, but it's really grinding my gears since she doesn't actually know what the rules are. It seems like the issue is that she has heard so many stories about people's partners' kids not respecting them that she has tried to assert authority straight away. This obviously hasn't worked and has just put your back up. I think it would be a good idea to sit down and have a conversation with her about how, whilst you do respect her, you already have rules in place that work for both you and the rest of the family, and that you feel as though there is no reason to interfere with those. My main advice is to try to be extremely respectful about this. That way she can't try and turn it against you and say that her reasoning for giving you new rules is that you don't respect her. It's going to be a learning experience and take time for both of you. None of us can understand this dynamic and it's normal to have strong feelings about it right now. Give it some time and keep your distance for a while. You can decompress at your mom's a bit, but don't let it fester. I have a little one and married a year ago, so we're tiptoeing carefully with a new stepmom dynamic. It's not easy for the new step-parent either. I hope you all find your groove. Why are you going to your friends during a pandemic? Kid, she is the adult and you the kid. She may have put too many changes on you, but if she is close enough to be your stepmom, then she does have some authority over you. FYI, if you don't view her as part of your real family, she will not view you as part of her real family. I think you will regret that down the road. Also, FYI, you shouldn't be staying out past 2 anyway. Nothing good happens after 2 a.m. Talk to your dad. If he takes her side, go to your mom's full time if possible. She hasn't earned any respect, and she has no authority over you. Think about it like this, she's basically a to you. So what she says doesn't matter. If she tries any punishment, don't listen. She tries getting physical, defend yourself, hit back. You need to stand your ground. I would calmly explain to her that you and your parents have a system in place already, and if she wants to know, you will tell her. If she doesn't care, explain that you have 2 parents and she is not going to be your third. If you continue to get shit from her, you might want to consider sitting down with your parents and discuss living arrangements. It might be time to live with your mom full time. This might give your dad the kick in the butt he needs to start advocating for you. You're in a tough spot, but remember that the more calm you are when stating your case, the more reasonable you will look and the more seriously you will be taken. Good luck. Sit down with your dad and lay it out that she needs to take a step back and the move hasn't gone well. She's taken over very quickly and showed her true colors and you aren't comfortable with it. That after how she was that you no longer will be staying over when she is there. I had a stepmom the same and I can tell you it didn't go well. Nip it in the butt now. Open his eyes to the toxic crap she does and get her back on her merry way. Let him find someone nice and a proper family person. This isn't okay at all. She's not your parent, she is your dad's girlfriend. She can't come in and change the rules parents set. You need to speak with your dad and tell him how uncomfortable she is making you. You guys already have rules and understanding between each other. She's the newcomer and she needs to find her place, not change everything to her liking. Sit down with her and your dad and tell her straight up. Respect is earned, not a right. She isn't your mother or stepmother yet and has no authority over you. Just cause she's moved in doesn't mean everything changes to suit her. Your dad also needs to grow a pair and lay down the rules that he's the authoritarian when it comes to you, and as long as you're not being a problem and behaving, then you have earned the right to make your own decisions and she accepts that or leaves. Talk to your dad but do it calmly and reasonably. Don't let yourself get angry. Make a list of all the things you want to discuss if you need to. It might help you stay focused on the issues instead of making it about her. The sooner you and your dad can reaffirm your own boundaries and rules, the better. After that, if she has any issues with your dad's rules, then she should take that up with him and not you. This is a dad problem. It's up to him to set boundaries with his girlfriend. Sorry you're dealing with this. Sad face. I agree with you, kiddo. It is not her place to tell you what to do. And she's not your stepmom, so get that out of your head. She's your dad's GF. I hope you talk to your dad and tell him how you feel. Seems like you and your dad have a good thing going and she's just trying to fit in. Tell your dad she can fit in other ways by getting to know you first. As someone who has been in a similar situation, my advice is to talk to your dad first and then have a chat with her. It could be she is feeling just as insecure. 2 a.m. bedtime is rather reasonable and so is 11 p.m. Honestly, bud, best thing is to talk. She may have just imagined cooking a family dinner for everyone and she didn't realize she had to ask you instead of tell you to be there. Your dad probably also did a poor job of telling her what the house rules for you are and about his relaxed parenting style. If she wants to get to know you better, that's not the worst thing. Perhaps you can agree to be home for dinner on certain days of the week as a compromise if that's the case. Hey kid, I understand you don't like her. You don't like that she came to your home and she is bossing you. Nothing gonna happen when you put like that. Just tell her that you respect her and you expect the same respect and your boundaries. Tell her you don't interfere with her life and don't interfere with me. We will be good, and make sure you have mom as well as dad. You don't need third person. Don't yell or shout, do it in calm and cool way. If you shout or complain to your dad, the relationship will be ruined. Your dad will be in middle of shitstorm. I believe you don't want to ruin your father happiness. Then simply show your boundaries. Good luck, bud. Dude, they want you in bed early so they can bang. I had a stepmom who bosses us around, manipulated my dad and us, treated us like useless people and was just a massive cunt who thought we owed her everything. I feel for you, dude. I'm sorry she's like that. Reading this reminded me of my situation many years ago. It sucks. Your dad made a decision and it sucks. Just get used to things sucking until you're out on your own. I'm so sorry you have to go through this. Your dad sucks. I wonder if she's doing this to try to get you to move to your mom's. Yes, that's for the dad, but that doesn't likes it. You three need to sit down and work out boundaries, because this resentment and hostility is only going to build a bad relationship. She seems like she's stepping in and being responsible where your dad is a pushover. Take a few deep breaths and talk to them like a grown-up, and you may find it beneficial to have a bit of discipline. After that, if she turns out to be an actual cunt, watch The Parent Trap and drive that wedge. My dad and I have long established agreements between the two of us, that we both respect. You don't get to come into our home and our lives, trying to upend something that existed long before your relationship did. I respectfully ask that you kindly refrain from acting like you have some sort of authority over me, which in reality, you do not. It only serves to disturb and disregard the long-held trust my father and I have in each other. Unless you have ill intentions and your goal is to drive a wedge between my father and I, you will agree to stop this behavior immediately. You are my dad's girlfriend, not my mother. Thanks. I mean, unless you want to hear your dad and this woman potentially having sex, go ahead and stay up. You're a 15-year-old child. Adults know more than you even without knowing anything about you. Why don't you show a little respect to your stepmom for your dad's sake, you spoiled piece of shit? Don't change, she's a bitch. I think you just very politely tell her that you and your father already have an agreement on insert issue here, and that you aren't going to change anything unless it comes from him to you. Because, he is your father and she isn't your mother, or even your stepmother. Put this back in your dad's ball court. You really shouldn't be having to sort through this with her. She's just his girlfriend at this point. Your anger is going to hamper your ability to advocate for yourself. Good luck. It's super annoying when people come into a new place and try to make a bunch of changes without getting attuned to the why things already are first. It happens in the working world all the time, with new managers, bosses, etc. It's a bad leadership style. People do it because they're insecure and want to be perceived as strong and commanding, but it actually comes across as disrespectful and tone-deaf. Sorry you're going through it. It's even more aggressive in a living space than a workplace because there's nowhere to get away from it. 1. She's not your stepmom. 2. She's just a GF. 3. There is no need to be disrespectful. 4. Just let her know she is his GF, but not your parent. You expect your mom and dad to parent you, not her. Stay respectful, but matter of fact. Can I give you some extra advice that I haven't seen given yet? When you do talk to your dad, be calm, give examples and facts. But do not use curse words when you are talking to him. Do not call her a bitch. Do not use fuck. This will put him on the defensive thinking that he has to defend his GF. Talk to your mom and see if she can't speak to dad. He may have plans to marry her in the future, so she is thinking now she can rule the roost. Maybe to sit down with dad and be an adult and make out a schedule to suit everyone. It is hard when there is a third wheel under the roof, but as life goes on, even with an unexpected pandemic no one expected, now we must follow certain requirements and get used to them for the time being. Work with dad and her on something to try and please everyone there. I care.